usually read much, but specific stories like Harry Potter, that I did not read them yet, but I really want to read them. But the books are expensive because they're like 7 books. I bought the Divergent books and the 4-1, the one that describes some of the events that happened in the books, but from Four's point of view or Tobias's point of view. So I will be reading you some. Oopsie, I hope I don't wake him up. So I'll be reading you some random parts from the story. I'm not gonna choose them. I'm just gonna open the book and decide. I still have not read Allegiant, which is like the third book in the trilogy. But hopefully I will soon. So this video is for the Divergent fans or anyone who ever commented that they love my whispers. So I'm just gonna open a random page and read. It's not gonna be any spoilers because I've read the book before. It's the best one, better than Insurgent and better than, well, I did not read Elysian, but first books are always the best, just like movies, just like series. Season 1 always the best. Except Bridgerton, I think season 2 was better than season 1. Bobo will just be enjoying the story time today. Let's go. Ooh, let's read. So we reach the carousel. Some of the horses are scratched and weathered, their tails broken off or their saddles chipped. Four takes the flag out of his pocket. I think that's when they play the game. Capture the flag. But it's really interesting. In 10 minutes, the other team will pick their location, he says. I suggest you take this time to formulate a strategy. We may not be erudite, which is the faction for smart people, but mental preparedness is one aspect of your dauntless training. Dauntless is for the brave and fearless. Supposedly, they are the protectors of the city. I'm just explaining for those who do not know the story. At least that's what I remember. It's been a while. Arguably, it is the most important aspect. He is right about that. What good is a prepared body if you have a scattered mind? Will takes the flag from Four. Some people should stay here and guard, and some people should go out and scout the other team's location, Will says. bursts into the conversation at once, their voices louder with each passing second. Christina defends Will's plan. Obviously, the dauntless born initiates vote for offense. Everyone argues about who should make the decision. Force sits down on the edge of the carousel, leaning against a plastic horse's foot. His eyes lift to the sky, where there are no stars, only a round moon peeking through a thin layer of clouds. The muscles in his arms are relaxed. His hand rests on the back of his neck. He looks almost comfortable, holding that gun to his shoulder. I close my eyes briefly. That's Triss. It's a first-person point of view. It's Triss, the protagonist, speaking. I close my eyes briefly. Why does he distract me so easily? I need to focus. Now, if you never read the books or watched the movies, you can guess something here. Why does he distract me so easily? I need to focus. Yeah, okay, Triss. I'm sorry, I get so invested. So, what would I say if I could shout above the sniping behind me? We can't act until we know where the other team is. They could be anywhere within a 2-mile radius, although I can rule out the empty marsh as an option. The best way to find them is not to argue about how to search for them or how many to send out in a search party. It's to climb as high as possible. I look over my shoulder to make sure no one is watching. None of them look at me, so I walk toward the Ferris wheel with light, quiet footsteps, pressing my gun to my back with one hand to keep it from making noise. It's not a real gun. I think it was a gun with I'm not sure, but it wasn't like with actual shots. It was with like shots that temporarily paralyze you. Again, I'm just adding side comments for anyone that never read the books or watched the movies. So, when I stare up at the Ferris wheel from the ground, my throat feels tighter. It is taller than I thought. So tall I can barely see the cars swinging at the top. Remember, this is a dystopian story, so the Ferris wheel is like old and rusty and abandoned. Anyway, so the only good thing about its height is that it is built to support weight. If I climb it, it won't collapse beneath me. My heart pumps faster. Will I really risk my life for this? To win a game the Dauntless like to play? It's so dark I can barely see them. But when I stare at the huge rusted supports holding the wheel in place, I see the rungs of a ladder. Each support is only as wide as my shoulders, and there are no railings to hold me in, but climbing a ladder is better than climbing the spokes of the wheel. Now, side note, was his back, just like mine. Yes, I say. I came to find out what you think you're doing. 4 is 18. He's also a transfer, but we still don't know at this point of the story, but you find out later on. He's older than them in Dauntless, so he's in charge of them. They are the new trainees, so he is basically in charge of them and in charge of Driss. And this is his team, while the other team is led by the annoying guy. I think his name was Eric. I don't remember. Anyway, so that's why he's speaking to her in that way, like all authoritative and stuff. I came to find out what you think you're doing. I'm seeking higher ground, I say. I don't think I'm doing anything. I see his smile in the dark. Alright, I'm coming. I pause a second. He doesn't look at me the way Will, Christina, and Al sometimes do. That's like her gang. Like I am too small and too weak to be of any use. And they pity me for it. See, I told you, like a 16-year-old girl. And she's like, thin and stuff. They describe her at the beginning of the story. So her gang, they like pity her because she's from the faction that are always giving and kind and all that kind of stuff. I don't remember what the faction was called. But yeah, so her gang, they're good. Not Al though. But yeah, but they pity her or they always look at her like she's some kind of weakling or something. In a good way. No, I don't mean in a good way, like in a kind way. They are not looking down on her exactly, but they're like, legs are shaking, but I'm not sure why. It isn't the height that scares me. The height makes me feel alive with energy. Every organ and vessel and muscle in my body singing at the same pitch. Then I realize what it is. Can you guess what it is? Or who it is? It's him. Something about him makes me feel like I am about to fall. Fall in love, dress, fall in love, or turn to liquid, or burst into flames. Now that's just exaggeration. Something about him makes me feel like I'm about to fall. Yeah, you're gonna fall in love, but turn into liquid or burst into flames. Like, what the hell? Then, where are we? My hands almost misses the next rock. Now tell me, he says through a bursting breath. The reason he's so breathless, no, it's not Driss this time. It's because he's afraid of heights. God, this part makes me want to reread the whole book. But too many events in the plot, like I don't want to reread all of that. What do you think learning strategy has to do with bravery? Because like I told you before, Dauntless is all about courage and bravery and all of that. The question reminds me that he's my instructor, like I told you, and I am supposed to learn something from this. A cloud passes over the moon, and the light shifts across my hands. It prepares you to act, I say finally. You learn strategy so you can use it. I hear him breathing behind me, loud and fast. Are you alright, For? Are you human, Triss? Being up this high? He gulps for air. It doesn't scare you at all. I look over my shoulder at the ground. If I fall now, I will die. But I don't think I will fall. A gust of air presses against my left side, throwing my body weight to the right. I gasp and cling to the rungs, my balance shifting. For's cold hand clamps around one of my hips, one of his fingers finding a strip of bare skin just under the hem of my t-shirt. He squeezes, steadying me and pushing me gently to the left, restoring my balance. Now I can't breathe. I pause, staring at my hands, my mouth dry. I feel the ghost of where his hand was, his fingers long and narrow. You okay? He asks quietly. Yes, I say, my voice strained. I keep climbing, silently, until I reach the platform. Judging by the blunted ends of metal rods, it used to have railings, but it doesn't anymore. I sit down and scoot to the end of it so For has somewhere to sit. Without thinking, I put my legs over the side. For, however, crouches and presses his back to the metal support, breathing heavily. Okay, I did that on purpose. You're afraid of heights, I say. How do you survive in the Dauntless compound? So if you don't know the Dauntless compound, it's basically full of heights. That's the description I could give you. I ignore my fear, he says. When I make decisions, I pretend it doesn't exist. Good way of thinking. I stare at him for a second. I can't help it. To me, there's a difference between not being afraid and acting in spite of fear, as he does. I have been staring at him too long. What? He says quietly. Nothing. she's basically bruised, and she was going to be kicked out of Dauntless, but she came in spite of Eric and basically everyone that said that she needs to get kicked out. We like her. I mean, Triss is a bit annoying like every protagonist in the world, but I think something about her is real. Personally, for God's sake, Stiff, right? They call her sometimes Stiff because from the faction she comes from. As again, I don't abnegation. I think it was abnegation. Um, yeah, I think it was. I don't remember where it's written. Anyway, abnegation. So, people from abnegation. Let's just pretend that's what it is because I think that's what it was. So, people from abnegation, they're called Stiff. Funny because he is from the same faction as her, but just I don't know why he calls her Stiff. You don't have to follow me, I say, staring at the maze of bars above me. I shove my foot onto the place where two bars cross and push myself up, grabbing another bar in the process. I sway for a second, my heart beating so hard I can't feel anything else. Every thought I have condenses into the heartbeat, moving at the same rhythm. Yes, I do, he says. This is crazy, and I know it. A fraction of an inch of mistake, half a second of hesitation, and my life is over. Imagine if it was, and then all of this book would have ended quickly. And I feel that would have made sense more than her being a hero. Anyway, heat tears through my chest, and I smile